Hey guys, all things scuba here. This is going to be a full service of a MK2 Evo first stage ScubaPro. So I'm just going to walk you through what I did. This is all sped up 2 times the speed, so it's just a little bit easier to watch. So first I just took off the little protective cap. Now I'm removing the port plug. I'm using the third hand here. Makes it a lot easier, that scuba tool. Now I'm going to take off the yoke nut, the yoke screw, and then go ahead and use my wrench and ratchet to remove the yoke screw. I try to keep the workbench as tight as possible. Not always happens though. So now I can use a C-wrench to take off the cap where the piston sits. And this is where I have some compressed air set up, so I'm just trying to blow out the little plastic piece in there. Sometimes gets stuck in there, so then I put it into the ultrasonic and then try to get it out after. Using a plastic dowel rod, I'm taking out where the insert for the Evo. I'm removing the filter here. Just removing some O-rings and whatnot. Trying to get the piston out. Sometimes it's a little bit hard. And my service kit's just over on the right, so that's where everything will be replaced. But this is a service kit for an MK2 Plus instead of an MK2 Evo, so it's missing the clear, thick O-ring. So I'll just reuse that because I inspect it to make sure it's okay. Now I'm just removing the other O-rings from the piston, and then I'm going to put everything into the ultrasonic and let it get nice and clean. So here I'm just going to be removing the high pressure seat. There's a new one in the kit. So everything goes into the ultrasonic. I even put the spring, the plastic bits, all of that in there, because then I'm going to clean it off with a toothbrush in the sink right next to the ultrasonic. So now I'm just cleaning off the plastic bits with a toothbrush and some water in the sink right next to it. And then I'll use compressed air to dry it all off. And one of the reasons I'm doing these videos is because I was looking on YouTube for full videos of how to service different regs and everything, and there are not many videos on there. They might cover a little bit, but they don't cover a lot, and they don't give you the full breakdown. And so this, I haven't taken this reg apart before, maybe a long time ago, but I'm taking everything apart in real time. I try not to stop the camera, but sometimes I get interrupted in the shop, and so I need to stop the camera. So once the things are clean, I take them out, dry them off compressed air, and then I'm going to put the O-rings back on. On some of the O-rings, I'll use crystal lube, which is right there in the little white tube. Other ones I'll just use normal silicone grease, because these regs won't see nitrox ever anyways, but use crystal lube on the inside parts. So this is where I'm just inspecting to see if it's actually clean yet. And that's where then, once I take it out and clean, then I dry it off compressed air and put it over on the side. And so the body still has that plastic piece in there where the spring sits. So that's where I'm just using compressed air to try to get it out. So wash off the body and then dry it off with compressed air, and then I can go ahead and start putting all the O-rings and replacing the parts, and then putting it back together. So putting all the pieces back on the piston. Just lubing up the O-rings with some crystal lube on the piston, making sure that big piston O-ring has plenty of lube on it. filter's going back in. This is just a little brass tool that fits perfectly, so you can press down the filter retainer. So this reg didn't have any shims in it or anything like that. And always check the intermediate pressure afterwards. That's where this one just doesn't need any shims. So the yoke and the yoke nut going back on. Add my third hand in. And I know these are supposed to be torque specs, but that's where this is just get it quite tight. Put the port plug back in. Since I already took off the other 4 hoses, I'll probably go ahead and make a video on how to service the second stage of the ScubaPros, the 195s, everything. So same, use a C-wrench, again, make that nice and snug. Then you just put everything back together and the entire service is complete. Those are extra O-rings for the hoses and everything. And I'm done.